Episode 100, guys. It's a special one today. It's the TAPIN Football Podcast in sponsorship with Betfair Exchange today. Good timing.
Good timing.
Yeah, perfect quality.
Come on, let's introduce ourselves. You know who it is already. Hosting today, Stevie. Dan.
You got Dan Coogs.
You got TAPIN Tobes.
You're not going with Black Dan?
Nah,
Come on, man. That's a feature of our...
Do you
honestly.
reckon I should stick with it?
Yeah, of course,
Cool.
man.
Then
You're
it's
nothing without that.
Fam, speak for yourself. Yeah.
But he's right though. You're nothing without that tag. You're just a regular Dan.
Wow.
Is that why you added black before?
Yeah. Obviously, because you couldn't tell I was before I said it.
Who have we got today?
Alright, I got
looking at
Cheekysport Akeem.
Come
So
on.
I'm in the house.
The
Big
money
fish. Big fish.
Not at all, but not at all. Man United definitely ain't big fish at the moment, but glad I'm here. Excited for the podcast. And love the work, man. Love it.
Thank you.
Gracias, mate.
We did tell you to gas us before.
You're not supposed to admit that, man. You're not supposed to admit that.
That was free gas right there, you know.
Nah, and to be honest, I need to return the favour as well because you need to actually experience these odds podcast as well, the Cheekysport Podcast. They're actually a wacky bunch. all they do is just get on each other and argue with each other.
I saw someone wearing a MAGA hat last week. I thought, this is 4 times.
When I was on it, Akeem was killing me because he was just going at Lundberg's legend status. It's like, how can you call this guy a legend?
I'm so baffled by why he's a legend. But we don't need to.
I'm not going to get into that with you, man.
Bloody love Lundberg.
Oh, Carl, he's an icon, man. These times in secondary school, I was asking my dad if I could dye my hair red as well.
Did you ask for a poster to hang up on your wall as well?
No. Saved strictly for Instagram, man.
Cheekysport Akeem here, and I'm about to show you how simple Betfair Exchange is. It's very, very simple. It works in 2 different ways. One way in a betting form, just like every other bookmaker, which is super exciting. But the main thing is the lay bet, where you bet on something not to happen. Let me show you how this works. So really simple. So you're inside the Betfair Exchange app, hit football as you do, scroll to the next 7 days because I'm going for after that Christmas turkey, and I'm scrolling to one of the big games of that match day, which is Liverpool versus Wolves. Now, firstly, I'm going to place a traditional bet, and I'm betting on Wolves to cause an upset against the Reds, which is just under 10 to 1. So I'm going to stick on that, and I'm going to put a stake of a couple of quid on that to happen. Wolves to cause an upset. I'm placing a bet. That's simple stuff to me. Now, this is what makes it exciting. You can slide across and go over to the red side, which is the lay bet side, which is, as I was mentioning, is what I think is not going to happen. So I'm betting on Liverpool to not win. So I'm clicking Liverpool to not win. And as you can see, stake. This is the area of what I want to win. So I want to win £10. So I'm clicking £10. I can see my liability, which is how much I need to have in my account in case I'm wrong, which I clearly have. And I am going to go for Liverpool to not win. So I'm going for Wolves to either win the game or for it to be a draw. I'm placing a bet on that. I'm going to win a tenner. Simple stuff. Happy days. And I am acting as the Betfair bookmaker for one day. Easy. Super easy, super quick, as you can see, and it only takes about 30 seconds to do. More importantly, it's actually quite fun to play. I can't lie. The boys and I are going to have a blast playing it. Let us know what you think. Drop us a comment across our socials and let us know what you think of the Betfair Exchange app. Now back to the show where we're talking more about football and more importantly about the predictions and previews for this upcoming set of fixtures. Let's go.
All right. How fitting is it that none of our teams won today? In terrible shape at the minute, but there's only one place to start. Jose Mourinho's Tottenham, ironically, up against his old stomping ground, Chelsea.
Can we not call it Jose Mourinho's Tottenham?
It is.
I mean, it is Jose Mourinho's Tottenham,
mate.
team.
I'm sorry.
Do you know what I mean? Toby, you were there. But you've made it here in good timing.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like you left at the end of the game.
I left at 60 minutes.
Fake fan.
It's not a fake fan. That's the earliest I've left a Spurs game in my life.
You left at 60 minutes?
60 minutes. When was it that Son got sent off?
Yeah, it was about 62 minutes.
60, 61,
Is that when you
62?
thought the game was done?
Yeah. The game was over. As soon as Son got sent off, the game was over. But then, as I was leaving the stadium, I was hearing all of that nonsense about the fans, some fans chanting all these like monkey noises at Rudiger and stuff like that. It's just... And like it's disgusting, and it just adds to what has been probably our worst performance of the season. And we've had some stinkers this season.
You sure it's the worst?
I think that's gone a bit too far.
No, honestly, honest to God,
you're pretty bad at Newcastle.
No, bro, honest to God, it is the worst performance this season.
Bro,
we had 4. By the time I left at 61 minutes, we had 4 attempts, 0 on target at home.
I said it last week, yeah, and I'm not claiming clout here, but that midfield duo of Sissoko and Dyer, I can't even claim clout because everybody in the world knows that is it's one of the worst midfield pivots in the league. I'm not gonna lie, and
I'd say Man United is probably worse.
Nah, I'm taking Fred and
Pereira.
Fred, we don't talk about that.
Fred and McTominay, I think. He's probably slightly better as a pivot than... Because I think Sissoko is good, and Sissoko was good today, I thought, in the first half.
He was playing a DM and CM.
Yeah.
He was driving, he's basically playing midfield by himself, but I think Eric Dyer brings the level of that midfield like so far down, to be honest. I don't know what he contributes. I think before he had his long injuries and stuff like that, I think you could see he gets around the pitch, gets a foot in, he was a decent defensive midfielder, linked to Man United, 50 million, all of that. And I think ever since he's had these long injuries, he's been a shadow of that decent player he was before then.
Do you think Spurs are really missing? Obviously, we forget about it, but do you feel they're missing Dembele? Obviously, he left a year ago now?
Absolutely.
And that he was a massive part of Tottenham, clearly. You know?
Absolutely, and a lot of people don't talk about that. Me and my friends were literally just talking about that in our chat. People don't mention it. It took us about probably 4 or 5 years. 4 years to fix our central midfield after Luka Modric left. People don't realise the impact that left on our club. Like, we were terrible through the middle. And we finally got back into a position where Moussa Dembele, just him, whether he was playing with Eric Dyer, whether he was playing with Victor Wanyama, it just worked. And losing him and not being able to have someone like Ndombele come in and play regularly, or not having a solid defensive midfield partner for him, or just having to mix and match Harry Winks and Sissoko, lack of stability.
What is really going on with that middle of the? I just, out of my opinion, like with Winks and Ndombele, what even Eriksen, like what is like your midfield? Like it's like, why are they not playing every week?
So Eriksen, he's not played well for pretty much most of 2019. So he's already checked out. For me, he's mentally checked out of Spurs, and I think it's just a case of when he's going to leave now, not if. So he's checked out. So I can understand why he's not playing. And Ali's playing well. But the midfield duo, the double pivot, we've signed Ndombele for 63 million. So he is the one that needs to be starting. But he's had fitness issues all season. And he's had some injury issues as well. He got injured a few weeks back as well, and then had a groin injury. So he's only just returned to full training on Friday. So I think him starting today was always going to be a bit of a reach. But I would have wanted that to happen. I would have taken 40 minutes of Ndombele over 90 minutes of Eric Dyer.
Yeah, but even like Winks and Lo Celso, though, who were both fit and can play there, I'm not sure why Mourinho persists with Dyer over the pair of them.
I think it just shows the type of manager Mourinho is.
Exactly.
It's just negativity.
Exactly,
and when you're at home and you're expecting to take the game to a fairly decent opposition, Mourinho's thesis is kind of backwards, and what he wants to do is trying to protect, trying to be defensive. And I feel like, especially at the point we are now in the Premier League, you've got to take the game to the opposition. Like, you're barely seeing clean sheets against teams these days. Like, you have to be on the front foot, and that pairing, that pivot is not being on the front foot at all. You're never going to control the game. And then obviously catapulted with the errors that happened today from Spurs. Aurier, I've been calling this guy a clown forever, and then Gazaniga did his best.
Bruv.
Mate.
His best kung fu karate
Lee
kick.
Dixon special.
Bruv. Like, and it was only this morning I woke up thinking, like maybe, just maybe Gazaniga, like long term, maybe this guy could actually grow into a natural replacement for Lloris, because he's actually been in really good form in recent weeks.
Well, he can.
And
with
then,
those sort of errors.
and then he does this. And I feel like now it's like he's learning the wrong things off Lloris. And he's saving his mistakes for the big games. Because Man United, slippy fingers, beating at his near post for Rashford, and then today, instead of going to punch the ball, inexplicable. How can you go and kick?
It's honestly,
how can you kick?
That's a Vito Minoni special.
Bruv, how can you kick that high? I couldn't believe it.
Do you not think it just comes down to the fact that he's also a little bit... I mean, this is a huge game, you know, and like a lot, to be honest, like a lot of Tottenham games has been against the big six, you could say. Like, maybe I just feel like this is a stage too big for him, maybe.
Nah,
you know what I mean? You not think that?
No, because he's played in these type of games before. He played.
He's headless.
Yeah, but as a stand-in for one game, I mean.
No. As in, like in our cup run last year in the FA Cup, he played. He went to the Emirates. He played when we won 2-0. He was He was one of our best players at the Emirates.
Made a great save. 0-0
at Stamford Bridge as well. He started. He played there as well. He's played in the Champions League a few times as well. Like he stepped in and he's done a job on several occasions. But he is just he's got that mistake in him, and he's not got the Lloris clutch ability as well.
I was gonna say he's not like because Lloris was like typically like a sweeper keeper type as well, and I think Gazaniga, when he has to come out and do those same things, he's not as convincing.
But Lloris had a mistake in him every 15 games or so.
He had a mistake in him. But I think that's more like with saves rather than having to come out and use his feet. Whereas this was like rush of blood to the head type stuff that I'm having to leave my 6-yard box and he's losing I forgot I can use my hands kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
He might get a letter from the Met in the morning because it's actually his GBH. He's actually GBH.
And you know what's crazy as well? When it happened, I was like, you moron, that is a Stonewall penalty. And the referee's giving
a free kick.
He's giving a free kick
the other way.
You don't even need VAR to see that. You don't need VAR to see that. He is like a 6'3", 6'4" goalkeeper, and his right leg is literally in midair.
All right, and then it got worse for Spurs when Son's done what appears is not even what appears to be. He's just petulantly kicked out at Rudiger. Definite red.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's not the first time we've seen this from Son. We saw stupidity like that against Bournemouth, and he was banned for the rest of the season, and he was banned for a subsequent 2 games this season as well.
Some people said anyone who gets red cards a couple of days before Christmas just wants boxing gloves.
Sometime.
and now you're right though. But you're actually right, and I've not actually sort of deeped the situation, because now he's actually going to be suspended for 3 games now.
But all jokes aside though, do you not think like obviously you were at the game, and I have to understand this. Why does every time Son does something bad, he still gets applauded by fans? Like I saw I thought how can he got sent off for a Stonewall red card and they were clapping, and you're why are you clapping,
mate? I was this close to having a fist fight with one of our fans today, because
wow, you would have backed.
I was so angry because not only were they were jeering like Tammy Abraham when he was like the ball was bouncing off his knee and chest and stuff. I'm like, Tammy Abraham is ripping this defense that you're praising. Like he tore apart Jan Vertonghen, Sanchez, and Alderweireld.
Alderweireld was stressed today, boy.
And then Son Heung-min kicks out at Rudiger and rightly gets sent off, and you have the goal to clap Son Heung-min, and then I hear that some fans were then hurling racial abuse at Rudiger. Like, what kind of backwards thinking is that?
It's crazy. I think we're tired of the race. We actually need to implement just a racism section in the pod because we're actually talking about it every single week. It's tiring.
Every week.
But I wanted to move on to Chelsea.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I wanted to go to.
Willian, I mean, he doesn't get too many goals, but when he does, they tend to be quality goals. It's absolutely wasted.
I hate him so much.
And then absolutely buried that finish.
Yep.
I hate him so much. He killed us in the FA Cup 2 years ago. I remember they rested Hazard.
Is that the 4-2?
4-2. He completely killed us. Scored a free kick, and it was the same thing again today. Masterclass. Like, we couldn't touch him. Couldn't lay a glove on him today. And he was everywhere.
What did you lot reckon of Lampard's formation? Obviously, he's rejigged it to...
Well, I'm going to look at Akeem when I say this. He tactically outfoxed, outmaneuvered, and outclassed the great Jose Mourinho.
I don't think so. You can say that.
Is Akeem big Jose? Are you a big Jose?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Jose because he's one. Like, obviously, people can say his tactic might be outdated, etc. But I'm talking about him as a man, and he is in his career over the last 20 years. I think he's the greatest manager in this era. He's the greatest manager. Well, obviously, we're not including Sir Alex Ferguson in this era, but he is the greatest for multiple different reasons. But in this present day, he's not the greatest right now, 100%. But with Mourinho, one thing people need to understand, which Inter didn't understand. Well, Inter kind of didn't understand. Real Madrid definitely didn't. Chelsea didn't for the second time, and Man United certainly didn't either. That it's very easy because of his divisive nature or because of the way he is as a character to blame him when anything goes badly. And the things that go good and the things he does do good, like he has had some small improvements for Tottenham, which we're not talking about right now. But ultimately, Mourinho clearly isn't always the problem. It's the players. And look at this. A year ago to this day, almost a year ago, Man United sacked Mourinho, and the whole world thought it was Mourinho's fault. And even back then, Tobi knows, I openly said that was a bad decision. It's not Mourinho's fault. And Mourinho has shown a year on. Forget if you take this Tottenham situation aside. Man United are, if not anything, they're worse under Solskjaer than he was under Mourinho. Mourinho got 85 points with that team. So I think what we need to understand is that separate the demise of what Tottenham's doing at the moment with a great manager. That doesn't mean he doesn't deserve any stick, but the reality is Poch wasn't doing a great job, and that's why he got sacked at that point in time.
Okay, Akeem, but
Jose Mourinho spokesperson, ladies and gentlemen.
But on Chelsea today, we're talking about Lampard v Mourinho, and Lampard.
It's one game.
No, but it's the one game that we're talking about, and it's the one game that Lampard has won, and it's the one game that has seen Lampard extend his lead against us to 6 points again. And we were all thinking we were going to be in top 4 by Christmas. Every Spurs fan thought we were going to win today, and we had a rude awakening. Lampard played 3 at the back, and it wasn't just a case of playing 3 at the back. The profile of the players he played at the back, he played Tomori, Rudiger, and Zuma for a reason. Physical.
Very
all of them
aggressive,
didn't let Harry Kane play at all today, and even any sort of ball that was going in behind, any sort of ball that Alderweireld tried to play from the back. No chance. No chance of Son or Moura or Ali running onto it because these players are fast. They got recovery pace. They can run, match you for pace, win the ball back, and give it to the midfielders. The midfielders today, Kovacic and Kante, beating our press time and time again. If you can even call that a press, we couldn't play. Dominated in the middle of the park, and then you got to look at our attack. Mason Mount, Willian, and Tammy Abraham pulling our defenders left, right, and centre. I saw Davison Sanchez having to play flipping right back and right wing at one point. I saw Alderweireld being pulled out to the left. I saw Jan Vertonghen being spun by Mason Mount. They gave us a nightmare.
But now what would you have done differently?
I think, but
I would have changed the shape.
Yeah,
go on, Dan.
I think Mourinho, he basically just played into Lampard's hands, right? With number one, you see that double pivot that he's basically picked for almost all their games. You know, he's picked it again, and Lampard's right. Fine, this is what they're going to pick. Who am I going to play in midfield? I'm going to play the 2 midfielders that have that are most press resistance, most athletic in there, Kovacic, Kante. So then if you're Mourinho, like, right, fine, we know they've got good midfield. We're going to try bypass midfield like we've been doing all the games. Lampard, he's telegraphed that, played 3 at the back, as Tobi said, you know, and then Mourinho seeing that, what Mourinho would have done Mourinho of the past, tactician, he would have changed it, made 2 up front to make it a bit harder for for them to defend against one striker in Kane, and bring another body into midfield to try and combat the extra 2. Not the extra 2, combat the 2 that are beating your press. So I think there were obvious things that he could have done, and he didn't really do them. And in the second half, when he made the change, he just put Eriksen for Dyer like for like. And I don't think he did enough to actually try and win that match.
Of course he didn't.
But do you know?
It's not just his fault though.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's the players.
But even before talking about the players, just talking about Mourinho there, I still think if you look at the record from August till now with Tottenham and Chelsea, and this is why I found this game hard to call, to be honest, was because they've both been really poor against bigger sides anyway. Generally speaking this season, both sides. Chelsea, that's Chelsea's best performance against a big side this season. They've been.
I don't think it is. I think they play better against Liverpool. I think they.
Well, they played better. They didn't outmaneuver the team that they played against. That's why they didn't, because that's why they lost.
They actually battered Liverpool on chances.
I know, but we're talking about the fact that they did play well.
You lot are not going to agree on this point.
Yeah,
I just think there were things that Mourinho could have done to make it harder for Chelsea to play, and he didn't.
Fair enough.
And Dan, sorry, Steve, my last point, and it's just buttressing on Dan's point.
It's what?
It's buttressing.
Buttress is supporting.
I've never heard that before. I never heard that word before.
Someone spell that out for me.
Buttress.
I've never heard of buttress.
I've never heard that before.
Just a buttress. I
can't believe you said it again.
Just to support what Dan's talking.
Why are you trying to impress people?
Just to support what Dan's talking about. The Dyer midfield thing isn't even just that. Oh, you're gonna play Kante and Kovacic. I need to combat this. He's been doing this since he's got the job, and since he's had the job, I've been saying it every week. Every Spurs fan's been saying it every week. Why is this guy playing? Because he's not offering us anything. His pass completion is poor. He can't win the ball back. He
doesn't pass forward either.
He doesn't pass forward.
But do you not feel Mourinho's only been there for a month? So it's taking him a time to learn who is good and who's not.
Yeah, but it's not. But that's my point exactly. There are players in this team who are significantly better that he is not given the opportunity.
Is Lo Celso alive though?
Lo Celso is sorry, Steve. Lo Celso is alive, and I said this last week after the Wolves game. He is a flipping number 8 or 8.5. He can play with his head forward.
But to be fair, Poch didn't give him a chance either.
Poch did give him a chance. He was injured.
Really.
Yes, his Pochettino's last 2 games he started, but that's my last point. That's my last point. Can I move on? You can move on. All right. Chelsea's superb, great win, fully deserved.
Yeah.
Lampard, props to you. Jose Mourinho, I want him out.
All right, cool. Jose out. Are we Ole out?
No.
Akeem, I'm looking at you.
I'm not. I'm Ole. Look, the thing is, look, funny enough, in the background of
I
while we're
smell a
talking,
fence sitter, boy.
No, look, no.
This is the sole reason why Ole's a legend.
It's actually funny, yeah, because no one who's watching can actually see, but behind us, there's a TV screen watching. Exactly, pretty much what got Ollie the job. It's the video of 20 years ago, the treble winning season. Literally, he's about to score right now. And the weird thing about it is, I think Man United just need to understand. The fan base need to understand, like Arsenal, that Manchester United are not Man United of 1994. We're not Man United of 1998 or 2008. This is 2019 Manchester United. We're far cry away from winning 10 games in a row. We're far cry away from having 4 or 5 world-class players in our starting 11 or even squad. We're a far cry away from any of that. And if we're not careful, okay, just like Arsenal, but we're mainly talking about Man United here, we can easily become a Nottingham Forest or Leeds in a couple of years. Yeah, honestly, all jokes aside, I can't see it happening because Man United are more. They're more adaptive than that in terms of we wouldn't allow ourselves to linger into the doldrums of like relegation, etc. But we're not far off where Leeds were a year before they got before they started going down, and look where they are now.
I think
do you understand what I mean?
It's so funny, like how Liverpool and Man U's roles have reversed, and I think we're in danger of becoming Liverpool, where Liverpool dominated what was it, the 80s, we dominated the 90s and the 2000s, and now we're not even in danger of it's happened. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what, 7 years now since we've competed properly for a title. It's just painful. And today's performance, oh my God, it was so abject. I didn't even watch the match, but when I watched the highlights on Premier League highlights, we barely had the sniff of a chance. I think we had Lingard's chance, who's again shows his mediocrity and how limited he is as a player. And it's just.
But
sorry.
But sorry, can I make a point on that though? So that Lingard miss, I don't think it was that. It was a bad miss, but I don't think it was that horrific. But this goes back to the point that we've made about Man United and I was making about Spurs initially. When you're in a team like Man United, things are so bad that like if you get one clear-cut chance, like you have to take that chance because
you're not gonna get another one.
You're not gonna get another one
until the next game.
and that's the problem. Like that's the problem. So that's Akeem was saying that before we actually start recording. The problem is you're not creating enough chances consistently to hurt even a team like Watford.
And that's what happens. It's like the team. The way it's set up, and I know we were talking about Fred and McTominay before. Obviously, McTominay's my favourite Man United player at the moment anyway, so I've only got good things to say about him.
Wears his heart on his sleeve.
Surely you've got to like Aaron Wan-Bissaka a bit more.
No, I like this. I'm talking about who I like.
After today?
No, just to be clear, I'm not talking about who's the best. I'm just talking about who I like the most. And I like McTominay because of I like a lot of what you call, non-technical non-technical attributes, those who used to play at Football Manager knows what that means. All of the other column, the middle column. The middle column. All the middle column.
Essie and like 17 in the middle. All of them, bro.
Trust me, I love those sort of players. I love it because those are the players that make your team. And Man United are so far away now of having not only leaders, but people who can stand up with great mental attributes in the team. Now, when you're 1-0 down, let's say De Gea makes a mistake, which he's allowed to make mistakes, by the way, because to be honest with you, he's been, and I'm not overstating anything. I've thought about this comment. He is, in the history of what I've lived since 1991, 92, so I've seen Man United. He is the most loyal Man United player I've ever seen. And the reason why is because he has been in an age of when Man United have been so bad and he has been so good. He's been the best keeper in the world for about 3 or 4 years. He could have gone anywhere for any contract. He could have.
May I remind you?
And he stayed.
If Van Gaal didn't pull out the plug, the fax machine, he would have won.
No, of course, 100%. But all banner aside, De Gea has been incredibly loyal. And the fact that I was reading messages today about being the arts of Man United fans have even got the cheek to be angry at De Gea. He is allowed. I'm sorry.
You have to be angry. No. Akeem, you've lost the game. You're allowed to
criticize.
No, you're allowed to criticize, but not too far. Where what people are saying, people are saying, why are we not playing Romero? I think we need to remember.
You need to G-check your friends.
Come on,
That's a ridiculous.
Romero's a good keeper, though.
Romero has an error in him every 10 games. He just doesn't play 10 games.
I'm not even saying he's better than De Gea. I'm just saying Romero's a good keeper.
But I guarantee
he's better than Kepa.
You watch any Argentinian World Cup, go through the whole World Cup and tell me Romero doesn't make an error.
I don't think we're at the stage now where the hair needs to be dropped.
No, it's not. But you got to do better though.
But you should be allowed to criticize.
But sometimes. Sorry, just to say, sometimes keepers make errors because they don't trust the players in front of them. I'm not trying to say, but you do lose confidence if you haven't got good. Do you know what I mean? When Mignolet was in goal, the Liverpool defence.
I'm sorry, Mignolet was just trash.
What I would say to that though is De Gea's best seasons have come when the defence in front of him have been trash. Like
rubbish.
You look at it like that.
It's always been bad.
No, but you see that season where I think you actually kept the least. You conceded the least amount of goals, second least amount of goals. Your defence was not good that year. I remember that Arsenal match. We peppered you, and you got peppered almost every other week, right? And De Gea was literally pulling out ridiculous saves and being clutch for you lot, and he's the reason why your goals conceded was so low.
Who's the manager again?
Jose.
Oh,
yeah.
Mourinho. Oh, okay, cool.
But why are you saying that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I agree.
There you go.
But I think your like intangible attributes and stuff, your mental attribute stuff, I think that is really important though, and I think that's where United have actually lost their way a little bit in the past sort of 7 years after Fergie's gone. Same with Arsenal, I think. In the last few years of Wenger, and the first couple of years of Unai Emery, and I think that is one thing that I think Ole is good and is trying to restore there, and why I think he should stay for just a little bit longer, even if I don't think he has the credentials or the ability to do that job properly. But I think if you give him a bit longer, get players in that have those same qualities that you'd say like a McTominay, a Wan-Bissaka, even a Harry Maguire, regardless of his actual performance level, have just with a bit more quality that they want to play for the shirt. Do you know what I mean? And then you've backed him and you see that he's now not able to do the tactical side of it. Then you can give it to someone who is ready to step in.
But I feel like
I want to summarise. I don't want to drag on this.
Sure.
But I think today, obviously, there's been 2 errors. I don't even want to highlight that Wan-Bissaka one because it's just a bad tackle. It happens. But there's been 2 errors that, I mean, Ole doesn't come out and say make 2 errors. I think it's hard to pin much blame on him for this match. However, what I would say is that there's a recurring theme where we start matches slow. There's a real lack of movement in the forward three. And I think now we have to agree that it's personnel and some fault has to be laid at the manager as well. I think most people...
Stevie, can I just say one thing?
Are we going to give any credit to Watford though?
Yeah, 100%. I just want to say one thing. I just want to say one thing very, very briefly. Yeah. Sorry about that. Is that, I remember watching a couple of months ago, Ryan Giggs talking, about when he came up as a youngster in Man United, and he used to do a lot of flip-flapping and tricks that didn't work and fall over, blah, 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 and lose the ball. And he looked up, he looked left and right, and he had Schmeichel looking at him. He had Cantona. He had Roy Keane. Yeah. He had Mark Hughes, Sparky. He had players that were, just by looking at them, he would be so scared he wouldn't even dare not perform because of that. And unfortunately, I think what I'm basically saying is Man United, forget even not leadership. We haven't got players like Arsenal. There's no players that
to drag you up.
That can drag you up. And people don't understand that is the reason why teams like Liverpool have players like Henderson in the team. He is so important. Those sort of players, they may not be the best out on the pitch, but they're critical to the dressing room and they're critical to keeping up that momentum and that energy.
Our senior statesman is Lingard. He will teach you how to Millie Rock, but not much else. All right. Go on, a point on Watford.
Yeah, Nigel Pearson, man.
Shout out him.
They had an encouraging performance against Liverpool last week, created a couple of chances. I actually think they played a lot better last week than they did this week. They did. But I'm just happy they've actually got their first win of the season, and let's actually see if they can actually...
Second, isn't it?
Isn't it?
No, I think they're on one.
No, sorry, their second. Their first one at home, sorry. They got their first one at home of the season, and let's actually see if they can make a great escape.
Yeah, and I do want to say Nigel Pearson.
It's on. I like him.
He's a good manager, and the truth is, I think he got. Remember, let's not forget, he's the manager that got Leicester to the position where they were before Ranieri was there, and he deserved this chance again at a Premier League club. So I'm pleased for him.
All right, cool. On to Man City then. Yesterday, in absolutely scintillating form, Mahrez and Kevin De Bruyne, you two, the men to my left and right, have been screaming for a Mahrez start.
Kelsey Priest.
And he absolutely delivered.
I didn't understand why he wasn't starting games, because every time he's touched pitch this season, he's been on flames. The left backs have been running scared of him because he can go left, he can go right. Like, who was the left back yesterday? Chilwell. Yeah. He's going to be having nightmares about Mahrez for the rest of this season.
Chilwell was, honestly, he did, and I feel sorry for him because it wasn't so much bad defending, but I think they were speaking about a match of the day. Is like the pockets of space. Kevin De Bruyne was picking up.
De Bruyne was finishing.
He had to cover Kevin De Bruyne and Mahrez, and covering 2 players is hard enough. When you're covering 2 players of that quality, is mental. Like it's just not gonna happen for you.
Yeah, I think Rodgers and Leicester's like overemphasis on focusing on Man City's midfield, it really left them exposed out on the flanks. And even for the second goal as well, for the penalty, you saw it. Sterling leaving him 1v1 with Pereira. when he got into the box, I knew he was going to skin him. I said, yep, this guy's going to skin him. It's just a case of whether he's going to bring him down or just let him score. And he brought him down.
I think as well, what's impressed me the most is because he's almost shifted Pep to almost like a 4-2-3-1, giving Kevin De Bruyne much more license to roam further forward. And he is definitely reaping the benefits because this period he's been the hottest that I've seen him in a while.
Since 17-18.
Yeah.
His ball striking is something else. Like some of the shots that are leaving his boot, right? Like I'm like, how are these not going in? Like the one that hit the post as well. Like you could see how close that was. Schmeichel was left like nowhere near it.
And one of the great things about Kevin De Bruyne is that, attacking players usually of that ability in that ilk is usually quite lazy. They rely on their ability to carry them through the game. His work ethic and his engine is a different. Is of a player who is usually a lesser player. You usually don't get players that high quality.
This is what I'm saying.
That works that hard.
He is the complete midfielder in world football.
But I will say on the flip side, I think that is obviously I don't know, but I do think that is maybe with the Morris situation. I feel there's something about him that I feel. Maybe in training he doesn't give 100%. He seems like that sort of player who, in comparison to who he's competing against. Obviously, remember
there has to be something.
He just looks like.
I think it's just a stylistic thing. Because I think with Mahrez he likes to hold on to the ball for too long, and I think with Pep, he
wants to move forward.
He's obsessed with positional play. You need to be in this place at this time and blah blah blah. And Mahrez doesn't fit that.
Who would he start instead?
I think
Bernardo Silva will probably play there as well.
I think Akeem's touched on a little a point there because I'm not sure Mahrez gives you the same off the ball stuff that the likes of Bernardo.
I think he's more to your point, the type of player who's got so much quality going forward, but tracking back, he does his fair share, but probably not as much as you can rely on from Bernardo Silva.
Which saw the same thing with Sane, though, struggling to get starts because of the off the ball stuff that he doesn't necessarily give you that Sterling and Bernardo do.
I mean, he's got what, like 9 goal. He's got 9 goal involvements in 14 Premier League appearances this season. He had 11 in 27.
But we know that's not enough for Pep because even when Aguero was firing them in, he took him out of the team because he felt he wasn't delivering to the level he expected. A question: how was Bernardo yesterday?
He was okay. You saw him playing in the middle, right?
I didn't watch the match.
Oh, well, he was playing in the middle.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm asking you. How good was he? Because you've been demanding for him to play.
Yeah, because he was okay. I think him and Gundogan, they kept the ball well and they passed well when they needed to. But they weren't really under much pressure because most of Man City's work were coming out wide or through Kevin De Bruyne.
I'll be honest. From what I saw of the game, we've been talking about a lot in today's show about getting it wrong, like with Mourinho, etc. I feel like Brendan Rodgers just completely got it wrong. The way he set up and what he tried to combat, he probably thought that the Man City would play through the channels and keep trying to feed the ball back to Kevin De Bruyne, which ended up not happening. They took the gaze away from the likes of Mahrez, which gave him more space. Brendan Rodgers just got it wrong. I think he completely got it wrong. And if Leicester were on their game, I still don't know how well Man City actually played yesterday. I feel like, they deserve. Don't worry, they deserve to win. But it was only because Leicester were poor, very, very poor.
My thing with this though is Man City are the best team in the country in terms of chance creation and stuff like that, right? So they're a very, very difficult team to stop, even on your best day. Like even in the games where they've dropped points this season, they've missed hella chances in those games, right? So it's like, I think they have just so many weapons that it's easier said than done. Like we've said this about Liverpool before, that if you try and stop the fullbacks, then you've got Firmino that drops in, and then you've got the 2 wide forwards that, can cause chaos. And I think it's the same thing with Man City, that if, as Toby said, they've tried to focus on De Bruyne, and then you've actually got Sterling and Mahrez on the wide, and then you've got Bernardo Silva as well that can pop up and hurt you. So I think it's just a case of they just have so many weapons that it's difficult.
I think. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say on Leicester, like one good thing that came out yesterday, or has been all season, or all of 2019, Jamie Vardy. Is there a better striker? Take out Lewandowski in Europe right now.
I think
on form.
How many goals has Immobile
and
got this?
He's got 17.
And
I think.
to buttress my
Timo
point,
Werner as well.
to buttress my point,
Buttress.
he scored 29 goals in the whole of 2019. The guy's absolutely on fire.
Yeah, he's been on fire. He's a quality striker. He definitely doesn't get enough recognition for me. I think on a worldwide perspective.
Yeah.
I think he's one of them players you firmly see as a Premier League striker, and I think we need to be talking about him as like compare him to like.
To be honest, if he was like a
he was
German
Spanish,
guy or something like that, and he wasn't like Jamie Vardy, WKDs and that, like he probably would be getting a bit more recognition. But no, he's one of my favorite players in the league at the moment.
He is, and on your back to your point on Leicester as well about them, you thought it was Rodgers tactical gaff. They went to Anfield, thoroughly outplayed. They went to Man City, thoroughly outplayed. They went to Old Trafford, they lost, didn't really put up a fight.
I think that's the story. But I think that's the story. I think that's the story of a lot of teams at the moment. Chelsea and Tottenham like that is that against the bigger clubs, it seems that I think it's just a different level that Brendan Rodgers hasn't quite learnt how to deal with the threat of high quality players coming at them. And the truth is, they probably don't need to. They can afford to lose all of the games against the big teams, and as long as they beat everyone else,
I just think
they'll still do well.
I just think that these teams are better than
the
barring Man United. But we already know what Man United are about when they actually play against sides who come at them, come at them, especially at Old Trafford as well in transition. But I think these sides. It's no shame to lose to Man City. It's no shame to lose to Liverpool as well. Ultimately, we need to remember this is Leicester. They're not this juggernaut of a team that are going to keep winning. So yesterday, I wasn't surprised in the slightest. And even when Leicester went 1-0 up, I had no doubts whatsoever that Man City were going to win that game. And they're lucky that they weren't. It could have been more. It wasn't a 4 or 5 or 6-1 job. Okay. Simple.
All right. Looking at the bottom of the table, the 6-pointer. Villa against Southampton. Right now, Villa look like they're going down.
Yep.
They're not going down.
I think Villa...
But they're going to be in the mix.
You don't think they're going down?
I said this at the start of the season. I said, I don't think they're going to go down, but they're going to be in that realm. They're going to be battling.
I think they've got a really, really big chance of going down, to be honest. Like, I think Southampton are picking up form. Ings is scoring a few goals.
Can I get my credits for Ings? Can I claim my...
What?
What did you say about it?
You're having a laugh. I said, Tobi ridiculed Danny Ings, on this podcast. And I said Danny Ings is a good striker. Tobi was like, what? Danny Ings, even the goals he's been getting have been shady.
They were.
Yeah, they are scrappy goals.
I never said he was a bad striker, but I'm saying that like some of the
Charlie
goals...
Austin.
He was actually getting like scumbag goals.
Yeah, but they all count. Danny, someone needs to give him my clout for rating Danny Ings on this podcast.
You can get that. Okay, fine. Take your bronze clout for rating Danny Ings. What does that get you in this world?
So you're saying that Villa are not going to go down yet, and I'm looking at this. I'm saying Watford, Norwich, Villa, Southampton. They're the bottom 4. Yeah, you got West Ham in 16th. I don't think West Ham are going down. Yeah. Everton 15th. I don't think Everton are going down. Yeah. Then it's like Bournemouth, Brighton, Crystal Palace.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think any of them are going down.
I think Bournemouth will be pulled into that battle.
I'll be honest. I think
not relegated. I said they're going to be pulled into that battle.
So based on that as well as the fact of yesterday's game.
Yeah.
They're both going down anyway, in my opinion.
I still think Southampton.
I think with Danny Ings confirmed, they're safe.
Any team that's susceptible to losing 9-0 at home, any team that does that, they're not safe.
Honestly, I think it's three from those 4 teams are going to go down, and I think Watford have the most quality. In their team going forward and in midfield.
I'm not sure about that, with Sarr.
The thing with Aston,
I like Sarr.
He can't strike the ball.
But he's not like Sarr. I'm not saying Sarr's a bad player.
I like Sarr as well.
I just don't know much about
the thing with Aston Villa though is that their defense isn't even that good, even when it's at its strongest. But Tyrone Mings, he's not going to play for the rest of 2019, so he's not going to be back until 2020. McGinn. Injured now as well.
I think that
looks like he might be.
He's been off the pace though.
Yeah, he has. And the over reliance on Jack Grealish, the lack of goals from Wesley. the impotency out wide from Trezeguet and El Ghazi. Like they miss a lot of chances as well. Like Dean Smith, he's
too expensive,
unwilling to change his approach. There's a possibility they could go down. I just think that squad. I feel like the squad, in terms of the squad quality, I thought they will come game 38. They will have just.
Okay, who's your three? Who's your three?
Watford, Norwich, Southampton.
Oh crap!
Yeah, there you go.
Because you know what. Based on what Toby said,
I'd fancy Watford to sort it out. And
yeah, you would now, wouldn't you?
But you know what? Based on what Toby said, like I feel like the Aston Villa is this year's Fulham. Yeah, they play too expansive, they play too open, and Fulham used to leak goals just like Aston Villa. And halfway through the season last year, I think just before they got rid of Jokanovic, the red flags were already there. And I'm not saying get rid of Dean Smith, but they have to tighten up. And, I think for the last 5 years, you've seen teams come up and be less naive. They come up and they play a lot more sensible. The only team that's played expansive and survived is Bournemouth. They used to keep getting 4-3s, 3-2s. They just played all out attack pretty much and somehow survived. And now they're still here. Most teams go down if you've got a weak defense. If you come up and you play too expansive and you let teams run through you like they do, you're going back down. Yeah. But they've got to sort it out.
What I would say is, of those 4 teams, they've got the best defence, right? So Southampton is minus 16 goal difference. Norwich minus 18 goal difference. Watford minus 21 goal difference. And Villa's is only minus 9.
But that's because Villa score a lot. They score though.
I'd back Villa to go down.
I don't think they score a lot.
Because
I want to see that.
Because I think Watford have got a new manager, and I think they'll have an upturn in form, and I think Southampton have a goal scorer, which they don't.
I can't call it. I'm not going to lie to you. I can't call it.
Who's a guarantee?
I think Norwich is the only one that everyone knows are done.
And they lost yesterday 2-1 to Wolves.
They've got a goal scorer though.
Yeah, they
but again, not enough goals from midfield with Norwich. The same problem.
It's the thing is Aston Villa. I think what is it like? Their last 9 Premier League games, they've lost 7. They've lost 7 out of their 9. Last 9, and they just struggle away from home, and even at home now they're taking L's. Like it's just they're in a sticky spot. But again, you never know with this table.
Do you feel like the cup run is in the League Cup is causing a problem for them?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think they're not. It's not like they're playing Europe. They literally have the Premier League and that to focus on. Like,
all right, cool. Let's move on to. I don't want to say the best of the rest because there was some basically less than interesting.
I think there were 4 goals in the remaining 5 games.
So I'm gonna rattle past them quickly. Norwich lost to Wolves. They look like
you're not gonna give the score or
2-1.
Oh, okay, cool.
Did you need that information?
I did need that information.
Wolves for me been the best club in pound for pound so far this season. I think for what they've coped with, how thin their squad is, what they've coped with their first year in Europa League, and them having a great campaign in Europa League. Unlike most that finish 7th every year and go in, and they've still they've got a good Premier League run as well, where they've hats off to them.
That timely brings me onto my next team, Sheffield United.
Exactly. I was going to say I'll take your Wolves, and I'll give you Sheffield United. Sheffield United, what is it, 5th or 6th best away record in the Premier League. First season in the Premier League since 2006 or 7. They're killing it, man.
They haven't lost an away match since January 2019. That's incredible. Crazy.
Yeah.
Newcastle, I'd also say at this point, it's almost at the halfway point of the season. They've done fantastically well. Shout out Steve Bruce, because we definitely thought they'd be one of the 3 going down.
9th, mate.
And it was worth watching the Match of the Day highlights yesterday just to see Almiron score his goal.
Apologies, sorry. Sheffield United 4th best away record in the Premier League. 4th. And Newcastle, back on Newcastle's 6th best home record in the Premier League.
That's crazy.
They haven't lost at home since the opening day defeat to Arsenal.
Honestly.
Like they're doing well.
And hats off to Steve Bruce, because he got a lot of stick when he got the job, even by Newcastle fans.
We gave him stick.
And end of the day, he's a guy who truly. I know that statement flies around like, oh, you know the club, blah blah blah. But he truly does. He knows the club. He knows the city. like hats off. Hopefully it works for him as well. I'm happy for him.
He's a local lad as well.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it means a bit more to him.
I'm just
as well,
gonna call it. At some point, it will turn sour.
I believe
At some point next season, we'll be talking about a managerial vacancy.
They could be back in the relegation battle too as well.
Yeah,
you never know.
Especially if they don't get backed.
I think they're being solid. They're solid enough. Though.
But, I mean, Palace. Did you see the highlights? Palace were easily the better side and should have won.
Yeah. All right. Bournemouth, Burnley. Burnley had a shocking game. Was it last week we were talking about it?
Yeah, and they've
done it again. They've done it again.
5 attempts, the whole game combined for both sides. 5 attempts. Can you imagine? 5 attempts.
That's a joke.
Over 90 minutes.
That's a joke. Someone do the maths. That's like an attempt like every 23, 24 minutes. What are you doing for the rest of the match?
So Bournemouth's XG was 0.13 and Burnley's was 0.17.
0.17.
That is dreadful. I wonder what that actually looks like in terms of a chance. And yeah, I mean, if you thought that was the worst match of the weekend, turn on to bloody Everton Arsenal.
That has to be. I think that's the worst 12:30 kickoff there's been this season.
Oh, it was awful. It was absolutely awful.
I'm so glad I didn't watch it.
I think at 45 minutes they pulled up the shot statistics. Everton 4 attempts, 0 on target. Arsenal no attempts, none on target. It's like,
but yeah, I mean, it's interesting though. New managers for both clubs. Arteta now at the helm. Dan.
I'm not gonna lie.
There you go. There you go.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, he's not my first choice at all. Right? We've said that on the
second.
pod. Like, I don't understand the logic behind it. But what I would say is, having watched his press conference, he did sound very impressive. Like, he was saying a lot of the right things in terms of changing the attitude around the place. So it's kind of the similar stuff to what Ole was saying when you got the interim thing, where it was like, you know, this is Arsenal Football Club, it should be a privilege. And similar things to what even Ljungberg was saying when he was interim as well, that the attitude of the players is just not correct. So if, you know, he's got ideas and he can communicate those ideas and we can see those ideas on the pitch, Let's fingers crossed that he does well. Good luck to him, I think.
Did you listen to his interview?
No.
And have you read like the dossier on?
Again, no.
Oh wow. So you've done no research.
Wait to hold me up.
I was literally just asking.
Can't you see I've got bigger problems?
Like basic questions, yeah.
It was an 11-minute interview. But anyway, Arteta speaks well. I can't lie.
Does,
and we said it. We discussed this like 2-3 years ago when we wanted him as our assistant.
Yeah,
with Pochettino. That back in 2016, I think. The guy knows his football, man, and he's a modern thinker. He's not a dinosaur. He's a modern. He has a modern approach to football. Yeah. And when you hear or when you read some of the stuff that he was saying in his interview, how like he doesn't want to build his team based on the opposition. He doesn't want to be a Mourinho, basically. He doesn't want to be a manager who's always planning for the opposition. You want to impose your own style.
I think we need to remember the fact that there's a high chance he could be a disaster.
No, but you didn't let me finish. You didn't let me You let me finish. So I said, so there's every chance that he could come in and he could be a success. But Emery said these things. Emery said he was protagonist. I'd rather win a game 5-4. And you can't even win a game 1-0. So it could go both ways. But I'm actually so interested to see how this is going to pan out.
I mean, and it's to your point, like a lot of managers, like it's not hard to be able to speak well in a press conference. Yeah, it's really hard when you're the top dog. All the weight of the club lies on you, as we saw with tons of assistant managers. Look at Carlos Queiroz. Yeah, there was one point where people were saying he was Mr. Fergie. Man United. Like Fergie wasn't even doing anything, and then Carlos Queiroz went here, there, and everywhere, and you saw that he was.
I've got to say that I don't want to. I can't listen to people when they say he he learned under Pep. That is nonsense because, like you said,
Wait, he did.
Like you said, Carlos Queiroz and Steve McLaren. Steve McLaren was supposed to be the new strike.
Yeah.
Because Steve McLaren was with him for so long. He was like a mold of him.
Yeah.
He was with him for 3 times longer than Arteta was with Pep.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work like that.
I think though, it's not even that you're learning from him though. It's the fact that when you're the assistant, you have ideas that you're giving to the main guy. Do you know what I mean, right? And it's like the interesting thing about Arteta is that a lot of like Wenger, Poch, and Pep, they've all said that they like his ideas, kind of thing. And so it's like I think the reason why he got the Man City role is that I think when Pep first came, or it was when he was at Barca or something like that, or at Bayern, they had to play Chelsea.
Yeah,
and then
in the Athletic.
And then it was like he asked Arteta like, tell me about this team, and he said he was so impressed by like it's one of the most impressive dossiers that he's been given about a team. That he was like, wow, I need to work with this guy. So what I'm saying is in his favour is the fact that he has his own ideas about how the game should be played and how to potentially hurt opponents. Right, which I'm hoping that if because he is a good communicator, if he can carry that message across, then it can be good.
He seems like one of these nerds, though.
Yeah.
What's all this business about? Oh, when he goes home, he's got
tactical chops like a serial killer
on his wall. That's such overkill.
Yeah, and it's overkill. And the thing is, I think one thing we have to remember as well, there's been these guys that they really understand the game, like your Villas-Boashes and stuff like that. You have similar stories, like, he was 16 years old and he impressed Bobby Robson so much, that he brought him through. But then it's like, it's a whole different thing when you apply it and actually have to communicate with people.
And also, I think as well that if he's learning from the Pep sort of school of thought, Pep's teams work when he has money to spend and money to spend at his will. What the situation Arteta is walking to in Arsenal is a complete car crash. Do you know what I mean? And so the amount he has to do in order to change that club and change the quality at that club, whether he'll be able to do it quick enough and afforded the time is another question in itself as well.
I agree. And I just think like with Arteta, something that people need to remember is that however good he is as a tactician, the job is bigger than that with Arsenal. Like, it's not just in this day and age, it's not just a problem of getting your team to start working well. You've got a problem where you've got a divisive situation between the fans and the board, as well as the fact that you've got players who are they don't really want to be there. You've got Xhaka who kicked the can. Ozil, same. You've got Aubameyang who probably doesn't really want to potentially stay. Lacazette. The list is endless. And these are pretty much their 5 best players, give or take. That all want to, give or take. They're
That's
5.
not the point here.
They're 5 best players. I know.
I was ready to go.
The thing is, these are first teamers. Like,
they're first teamers.
Even if someone like Xhaka that you don't rate, that's a guy that the players voted to be captain.
And out of those 5 players that voted for captain, 3 of those 5 are causing dissent. Ozil, Aubameyang, Xhaka. So at the moment, they're at it doesn't matter how good he is at tacticians. He's got a bigger problem. Plus, and I don't think he is a big enough presence and personality to fix this problem.
He needs to get a fade as well. I'm fed up with that haircut.
Lego.
Honestly, literally a joke.
A Lego square. Lego trim.
On his head.
Fam, I want to see what this Arsenal job does to his hairline though, honestly.
He's had that same haircut for like 20 years.
He must be.
I was sick of it. I was sick of it when I saw it in the Everton top. And I'm sick of it
He
now.
must be an elf.
It's hilarious.
Because he has not aged a day.
Fam, it's hilarious.
hasn't.
There's a picture of him and Xabi Alonso when they're like kids, and then Arsene Wenger's like sneaking in the background. But it's literally his hair is the exact same, and he's like 7 years old.
Honestly, it's ridiculous. Who's got like better youthful face, him or Pharrell?
Him.
Wow, over Pharrell.
How old is Arteta though?
He's 38, I think, 37.
I thought he's like 38, 39. What about, I know we spoke about it last week, Don Carlo? He was in the stands as well.
Ancelotti.
Don Carlo.
Yeah.
He was in the stands.
And not a word for Big Dunk as well?
Oh, God, don't even get me started on him. Another double sub. Like,
he wants to do things his way, doesn't he?
He's crazy.
But he was justified in that one, though. He was justified in that one.
Tosson was terrible.
Awful. But why bring one in the first place?
Yeah,
this is what I mean. Yeah. I don't want to see that guy in a Premier League job.
He had to bring him on.
Life.
He had to bring him on because he was itching to get back to 4-4-2. That's why.
Yeah. But yeah, a word on Carlo. I think he's going to be a success personally, as I was saying on last week's pod. But
I don't think it's going to bang.
I think personally, with the budget that they'll have and the squad spine that they've got at the moment, like honestly, like next year I wouldn't be surprised if they're third or they're challenging certainly beyond even top 6. They're in third or fourth. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're never going to finish in the top 4.
If they can't do it with Ancelotti, they can't do it with anyone.
Yeah,
that's it.
They're never going to finish in the top 4.
Oh wow!
You rate their spine then?
I rate. Let me rephrase. Not their spine, but I rate their squad in general. I feel if they were to replace or sign 3 or 4 players, again, here's the funny thing: if we're comparing them to the other big 6 or 7 in the league, or big 6, sorry, because they're Everton, their squad is probably better than Arsenal's and Man United's.
It's not.
Or it's on the same level.
No, it's not.
Overall, I'm not talking about who. I'm not talking about.
Yeah,
if you're looking at outlining the likes of Wan-Bissaka, Pogba. Look at the average across the squad and who Man United have. Chong is included in that squad that we're talking about. you know.
Well,
I'm sorry. So we're talking about the overall squad.
You're a bad guy.
Man, that's your academy talent, man.
He's just He's a Kelly, bro.
His point was dying in flames, and he said,
I had to save something.
He's validated it. Oh, good.
You're a legend.
All right. Cool. All right. Let's look ahead then to some of the fixtures happening on the 28th and 29th of December. This little preview is in partnership with Betfair Exchange. So we've got a few tasty fixtures.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So obviously,
the man came in quick.
Take it away.
Over to you, Akeem.
Now you said that. Now I've got to say something. But now, all I was going to say is obviously we're going to look at four fixtures, right? Yeah, and obviously some of them we're going to be doing normal bets. Others we're going to do what they call lay bets, but I'm sure you're going to get to that. But the exciting part is I already think that you three, in particular you're going to get them all wrong.
Bruh, because I don't rate your predictions. Back myself, because I'm questioned on this pod for some of my calls, so now we're going to actually have it on record.
80-20, is
80 right, 20 wrong.
So what's he then?
Tobi don't know what he's talking about.
You that didn't even know Arteta had an interview on Friday.
I didn't say I didn't know he didn't have an interview. This is what you're like. I know. You got it on record. What did I say? You're in place. I didn't know he had an interview. Bloody hell.
Alright, you didn't even know who Graham Potter was. There.
No, wow. I just didn't know his name.
You didn't know who he was.
Look, I have so much knowledge. I can't be spreading myself thin.
All right, mate. All right.
But let's get into the first match that we're gonna be looking at. Liverpool, Watford. Liverpool Wolves rather. In fact, Liverpool are gonna be at home. Guys, what's your thoughts? Akeem, I'm gonna start off with you, seeing as you thought I'm gonna get every fixture wrong. So.
Liverpool versus Wolves. Look, I think it's a tough one for me because I feel Wolves are going to probably try to cause an upset in this sense. But I'm going to personally go with the fact that Liverpool are going to be rejuvenated in a sense that they probably against a team like Wolves and the way Wolves play is going to be a walk in the park for them. I'm going to actually go out there and say it's going to be an easy win. I think 3 to 4-0. So I'm going to say comfortable win for Liverpool, but it's only going to be because of the way Wolves play, and it's going to play into Liverpool's hands with the likes of Salah and Mane, who they've got up front. So I'm going for an easy Liverpool win for me.
Cool. Tobi?
So what? We're just predicting who's going to win?
Yeah.
Okay. Or draw.
Yeah, I'd have to back Liverpool at home. Strong side. They haven't lost in how many appearances now? It's got to be...
Especially at home, I think it's going on 2 years.
Yeah. Two and a half years now.
Over that even.
Yeah, just off the back of the World Club Cup, there might be some fatigue. It will be a close match. I don't think they're going to blast away Wolves. I think Wolves will be firmly in the match, but I think Liverpool will have too much for them.
Just wanted to say is, for anyone who may come out and say Wolves is 9, it's almost just under 10-1. Current bet.
Are you saying that because you know I'm going next?
Yeah, no, it's currently 10-1 for Wolves to cause an upset and win. So
I don't see Wolves.
I don't see it.
I don't see Wolves doing
Yeah, I'm not gonna labour on it. Liverpool win. I know my stuff, so yeah.
Liverpool win. Wow, Steve's triggered.
that Graham Potter thing is going to live with you for a long time.
It's definitely triggered.
Do you know what I figured? If I do the same result that you lot are all doing, if I get it wrong, you all get it wrong.
Look at that way of thinking.
You're going first on the next one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Crap.
You gave the game. No, but I'm going Liverpool win. I think, last season, everyone was saying Wolves taking points off the big boys, taking points off the big boys. They didn't actually take any points off Liverpool, if I remember correctly, because I don't think their style of play actually suits playing against Liverpool. They're hard to counter against because their defenders are so good one-on-one.
Yep.
So I'm not having Wolves at all. I think Liverpool win.
Okay, cool. Next match then, we're looking at Newcastle and Everton now. And I actually have to start first. This is actually a test of my tactical acumen and my knowledge in the game.
Wow.
This is actually a toughie because obviously they're going to have Ancelotti. I think it'll be his second game at this point. This is a toughie.
Should I go first since you're struggling?
Yes, please.
He's going to copy
No, but he's going to copy you now.
I'm going to go against the grain.
I'm going to go for an Everton win. I'm going to go for an Everton win because Everton have their shooters fit. I don't think Newcastle have their shooters fit. Maximin's still injured.
Almiron's in the goals now, though.
Almiron's in the goals, but...
In the goals.
I saw them against Crystal Palace at home. They were ran ragged.
Yeah.
And I feel like Ancelotti, he's not big dunk. He's not gonna come and sit back. He's not gonna come and sit back and try and soak up pressure. He's gonna go for the jugular. He's gonna be on the front foot, and I think Everton will have enough quality to get a result there. So I'm going for an Everton win.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go for Everton win myself. I feel like Carlo Ancelotti, something a lot of people don't know is that away from home throughout his whole career, he's actually been. I remember seeing a stat when he became manager. He's actually got a very significantly good away form across his whole career. I don't know if that's just by coincidence. It could, but I feel like in games like this, coming into what I think this is his first away game for Everton, a lot of the players for the next 5 to 6 games is going to be wanting to prove themselves for Carlo Ancelotti, and this is the difference of a big manager factor. That if he wasn't maybe a lesser manager, maybe it wouldn't be so much of an impact. But I feel with him, it means so much to a lot of these Everton players to prove that they are the right man to be in a starting 11 every week. So I feel that is going to push them over the line. I feel Newcastle is still always that sort of side that they don't really mind if they lose a game here and there, as long as at the end of the season they got more than 40 points, which is, we were talking earlier about the positives about Steve Bruce, but I feel like that's one of the slight negatives. He's probably like, as long as the end of the season we're up, it's okay. So I feel because of that, I'm going to go for an Everton win.
Cool. Dan?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go for a draw, I think we said it earlier, like Newcastle, they've been strong at home this season. They've rarely dropped points there. Few draws, mostly wins. And I think, I just look at Everton's front line and I don't see a lot of actual quality there to hurt teams, despite all their shooters being fit and whatnot. I just think their shooters aren't very good.
Really?
They're not, but...
So I think
they can hurt Newcastle.
So I think Newcastle they'll show enough grit at home to hang on to a draw. So I'm going draw.
Not Iwobi, Richarlison.
He sucks. No? He's okay. He doesn't.
Richarlison's their only attacker that I think is actually good.
Okay. I think Calvert-Lewin will cause. I think he's the type that you want in a physical game like that. I think he'll cause them problems.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dan. I don't think Everton have that much quality going forward to really cause Newcastle tons of problems, and I think we're underestimating how much of a good job Steve Bruce has done. And I think if I look at that Newcastle side, I think they can nick a result. I don't think they'll get a win just because I feel like Ancelotti will come in and have some sort of impact. But I'm going to go for draw as well.
You know, it's funny. It's funny actually. Now we've been talking about both teams' attackers not being great. Now I'm trying to think about maybe a draw would work. Bro, Tobi shaking his head like, how could you?
Bro, get your own personality. You can't just be stealing mine.
I'm sticking to my guns. If I know they were crap against Arsenal, but if Sidibe, Digne, if these men are fit and he plays,
Digne is very unpredictable.
Nah, Digne is solid. He's
good going forward. Going forward.
If he plays the two up top like he normally does, I know obviously he didn't do it so much at Napoli, but if he plays the two up top, which I think will be Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, and you have those two on the right and the left feeding balls into the box, I think they're going to get a result.
Well, just to say, based on the odds, it's pretty much even across the board for all three win, lose or draw, which basically means
that's a hard one to call.
No one knows
what's happening.
No one knows. Across the Betfair Exchange, no one knows what is going to happen.
None of us predicted a Newcastle win.
It's a lottery game.
Win.
It's actually a lottery game. Okay, cool. Looking further down the table, spoke about these two sides, Watford and Aston Villa. One of them could go down. That's a big match. Akeem, we going normal bet or we going for a bit of a lay bet here?
Yeah, we've got to go for a lay bet here. So,
cheeky lay bet.
Exactly. So, of course, I'm sure you would have seen in the video clip anyway, some point in the video earlier. But a lay bet, for anyone who didn't know, is you're betting on what not to happen. So, if I bet, what's the game called? What game is this?
Watford Villa.
Watford versus Villa. And if I pick Villa, it means I don't think Villa is going to win. Or if I pick draw, it means I don't think it's going to be a draw. So, it's almost like I'm the house. Yeah, I am the bookmaker for this. So
where you going?
So on a lay bet for this one, I think is
a no-brainer.
I'm gonna say a lay bet to draw. So it's not going to be a draw, whatever happens. And I think the reason is because the way this game is set up, it's a must-win for both sides, and I feel both teams are going to go all out, and one team's going to obviously get found out or get caught out, but I think a draw is not going to happen.
So what you're saying is you don't have enough knowledge to call who's going to win.
You can't try that after. Hey, Graham Potter, don't let me bring that up. I got something in my sleeve now for you.
I'm going for a lay bet on Aston Villa. Aston Villa will not win that game. I cannot see them winning for love nor money.
Can't wait for you to clip this up when he's wrong.
As I said earlier on, Tyrone Mings, who I don't really rate as a defender, he is their best defender. He's injured for the rest of 2019. That's a big miss for them. McGinn, who's gone off the ball, like you said, he's most likely injured for a long period of time. That's a big miss for them again. And Wesley, he can't buy a goal for love nor money. Watford have got their first home win. They got their tails up. And I think now's the time to kick on the Pearson. And Pearson is going to earmark this game as a 20-pointer. Not even a 6-pointer, a 20-pointer. Yeah. And for that reason and that reason only, I'm going for a lay bet on Aston Villa. They are not leaving Vicarage Road with any points.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to talk too much, but I'm going to just back Tobi with exactly what he said.
Is that acceptable? Is that an acceptable thing to do?
No,
really?
But like he's like my assistant, innit? So if I ask him for his view on a match,
I'm not.
Wow.
Yeah, I might just take it. I've heard
You're the Jody Morris, yeah? He's the Jody Morris.
Toby Morris. He's my Carlos Queiroz.
I thought you were going to call me Rennie Mullerstein.
I'm also going Villa no win. I can't see them getting a win.
Yeah, and that's thirded as well. I think Villa no win, just because they're just way too open. And I think with this whole Nigel Pearson coming into it, I think the Watford players will be fired up. They'll be ready for that. Deeney's back fit, back in the goals as well.
Looks overweight though.
He always looks overweight,
doesn't he?
So I think, if he's like their talisman, and I think once he's there and he's driving the team forward, they'll start to climb the table.
Yeah. I just wanted to say on the betting front, it's just under 2-1, so 1.98-1 for Watford to win, 4-1 for a draw, and 3.9-1 for Villa to win. So basically, the odds are fair in that Watford are gonna do a job.
Okay, on to the big match for that weekend. Then Arsenal Chelsea. I'm gonna go with Michael first.
For the first time, finally.
I think it's a bit ironic because it's kind of boys versus men. But the men are actually Chelsea, who literally are actually boys.
Are they really boys though?
Yeah, no. The thing is, they're youth.
By the way, the average squad age is 27.3 years.
Thank you.
But the thing is, the players that are so-called youths and that, they have
got
all
tons of experience.
Like, I think Mount, he's 2 seasons on loan. Tammy, 2 seasons on loan.
3 seasons
on loan, including one in the Premiership. Tomori, season on loan at least. Like,
they're experienced players.
They with Reece James as well. They've all played like men's football for at least a year. So
that's facts. But that's something you can't say about Arsenal's kids. But yeah, I can't see anything but a Chelsea win. But if somehow Arteta manages to find
just to be clear, Arsenal's at home, so they're at the Emirates.
Don't matter for me.
What's your
so I'm gonna go Arsenal not to win. Simple one there.
So lay bet on Arsenal.
Yeah, lay bet on Arsenal. Arsenal not to win.
Okay, cool.
You know what?
I can hear your heart going over your head here.
Yeah, I'm just going to put everything on the line here and just say lay bet Chelsea not to win. I think.
Wow.
The past couple of seasons at the Emirates, they've not had the best time there. I think it's a draw and a loss for them. The past two seasons, I think that was Conte and Sarri. And I think Arteta can maybe get some of that home spirit that we've had for the past sort of 3-4 seasons where we've naturally been strong at home. Plus, I don't think Tammy
against top 6.
Tammy against top 6, he's really that guy, but it's not a top 6 defense that he's playing against in whoever we play. So
not even a top 10 defense.
So I think the most likely result will probably be a draw for me, but I'm going to go Chelsea on the lay bet, no win.
Wow. Okay. You're going Chelsea on the lay bet.
Yeah, straight foolish.
Back in the boys.
You backed Ljungberg and look how that happened. Or that worked out.
One win. That's more than every match.
Against the team that everyone beats. Yeah, go.
I'm gonna go with Arsenal on the lay bet. I can't see Arsenal getting 3 points, even with the Arteta factor. I think you've got too many absentees that are going to hurt you. I think playing Saka.
Who in particular they lose?
They got Kolasinac, Tierney, and Bellerin all missing. So you're playing Saka and 80-minute Niles versus Willian, Mount, Pulisic. They're going to run rings around those young fullbacks. So I can't see Arsenal winning that game. So I'm going to have to go over Arsenal lay bet. No chance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I just think the physicality with the defenders at the back. If they play that back three, you're not breaching Chelsea.
I'm telling you, that midfield is going to run riot against you lot.
Yeah. In fact, let me go out on a limb. I'm going to say I'm going on a Chelsea win. Chelsea are going to win at the Emirates.
Yeah? So you're going to go for a win?
Yeah.
Personally, I look at both teams, and Chelsea clearly are the better side. Arsenal will surely get new manager bounce though through Arteta, because they definitely didn't get it with Ljungberg. so they've got to get it with Arteta, and if they don't, that's a joke in itself. So I feel the way Arteta was set out, this is a statement game, and it's more of a statement game to them than it is to Lampard. Which Lampard, I know he's done great against Tottenham, but end of the day, he has underperformed against big sides. And I feel that that's going to continue throughout the rest of the season in the Champions League and in the Premier League. So I will look at this game thinking I expect actually Arsenal to win. Funny enough, I expect them to win because of the new manager bounce, because of the fact that the players should be fired up for this game more than Chelsea, and because I think Lampard has had clearly issues against bigger sides. So Arsenal are going to win this game. And if I had to put a lay bet on, I may even double up. I put a normal bet on Arsenal to win, and I'll put a lay bet on Chelsea to not win. So Chelsea are just not smart. Chelsea are not winning this game. Basically, that's a long story short. They're not winning this game.
Chelsea are not winning.
Chelsea are not winning. Arsenal.
Fact, you know what? I'm gonna change mine. I'm gonna change mine. I'm putting it on Arsenal on the lay bet. I'll stick to my original point. Arsenal on the lay bet. Arsenal winning that game. Okay. So it will be a draw. Chelsea win for me.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
We've heard from you, Akeem. All right.
Yeah.
Is that a definite game for over 1.5 goals?
Ooh. Over 3.5.
Whoa, no, come on, man.
In fact, sorry, no, over 2.5, sorry.
Okay. Do you think there's just going to be
at least 3 goals scored?
There's going to be at least 3 goals for sure, 100%. 100%.
Are both defenses that shaky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, if you're going over 1.5, that's a safe over 1.5 for me.
Yeah.
Over 1.5 is a no-brainer. That's guaranteed going to happen. Guaranteed.
No team is winning that 1-0. Come on.
Exactly.
And then we see 1-0. We're all looking at each other next week.
There's not going to be a clean sheet that game. I can't see
a clean sheet.
All right. Yeah. Well, we'll be back at some point to review how all these calls have gone. Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
It'll be fun.
All clipping up those points when we're like, there's no way. You know what those parts that we just said, there's no chance it's happening.
I can't wait to slander Akeem when he's not here to defend himself.
but you know what? There's going to be, I think, we had 4 bets in total. Yeah. So ultimately out of 4. So look, I just want to think, who do you think is going to get the least amount of points out of us 4? That's what I think.
Oh, so what? Okay.
If you had to if you got a point for the correct being correct, who do you think is going to get the least amount of points?
It's Steve.
Dan?
You think it's me?
No, who's your call?
It'll be Steve.
I'm going to say Steve as well.
Oh, no.
We might as well all pile in.
I got pile in.
I'm going me as well. Absolutely ridiculous. Well, guys, that's going to be our last episode before Christmas. Akeem, it's been a pleasure to have you on for our 100th episode.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so happy it's the 100th episode as well. To bless you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Come on.
Or to bless us. Or for you guys to bless me as well, man.
You don't really have to read
I was going to Bluetooth it.
How many times have I told you about this Dan guy?
What a fanboy.
He is top 5 smartest men I know, but he has no common sense.
Who are you talking about?
Dan.
Oh, really?
He put his hand out to me, man. Come on.
No.
Honestly, that's such a diplomatic.
It's ridiculous.
I don't know why we're taking hands. Why are we taking hands on the podcast?
Fam, you lot started it. I just followed
All in the nature of Betfair Exchange.
Yeah,
fair and friendly, professional.
I've got the slogans and everything.
Thank you.
Oh wow, you are the promo god. Wow,
that's actually amazing. Guys. To all the listeners, thanks for listening and supporting us through 100 episodes. I can say it's definitely been a pleasure listening back to myself for 100 episodes.
I think the best ones are where you went there.
And where's
all your beats coming from today?
I don't actually know, but in true tapping fashion, we've got to do a fashion check.
Oh, yeah.
And Dan, what are you wearing today?
Nah, he's calm today.
This is my church getup, man. Come on, are you really going to get onto this?
I need something.
He's calm today.
I need something. Who are you sponsored by today, Dan?
I don't know. Turtlenecks are us, innit?
Wow, what happens? Who's usually got the most drip?
I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to talk too much.
Me.
Basically. He just wears Spurs stuff every week.
So it's me.
That's fine.
Spurs.
That's it.
You are literally head to toe in Spurs gear, but you're dripping.
It's me.
But you are wearing Yeezys though.
Yeah, you're wearing Yeezys.
That money coming through correct, isn't it?
Nah, I think
Bro, if you're wearing Jordan 6s, they're the same. They cost more than Yeezys.
Nah, they don't cost money.
Yeah, they do. They cost around £200. Yeah.
Stay tuned next episode for our fashion review.
London Fashion Week.
Yeah. All right, guys, it's been a pleasure. We'll be back shortly after Christmas. You know what the socials are, at TAPIN FOOTBALL on all platforms. We've got to plug Cheekysport, I guess. So back to the promo, God.
Yeah. big up, obviously, everyone on TAPIN FOOTBALL. Cheekysport at Cheekysport on everything apart from Insta, which is Cheekysport Insta. And obviously big up as well Betfair Exchange for having us on this podcast and on this show. It's been a great one. We're looking forward to reviewing these scores and the bets that we even put on over the last couple of minutes and seeing how we fare with Betfair Exchange. So, yeah, really, really happy about that. And excited because I'm smiling because I know I'm going to win.
Exactly. And Merry Christmas, everyone. Yeah. Or should I say Happy Holidays?
Merry Christmas.
Got to be diplomatic.
Yeah, Happy Holidays.
Happy Holidays. Thanks for listening, guys.